Hirakawa, founder of Visionary Yoga and the author of the Yoga of Personal Development. And it's great to be here. And I really feel today's topic is very relevant for the era we live in. How to improve your memory power naturally through yoga and Ayurveda. And I want to be clear that when I say yoga, in the context of visionary yoga, I'm not talking about, getting your leg around and behind your leg, behind your head, or, acrobatic things like that. It is the level of yoga that is what I call invisible dimension of yoga, which is the most transformational part. And did you know that the yogic model of personal development is 3 layers deeper than the conventional model of personal development, which just starts with mindset, right? There are 3 other levels which yoga gives you access to. But anyway, today we're talking about how to boost your memory power. And let me get clear, because when we talk about memory, there is a confusion. Many people confuse the, recording aspects of memory with the recall aspect of memory. So most of us, for all of us really, 24/7, we have these 5 windows, the doorways of perception of our sight, our hearing, our smelling, our tasting, and our touch. These 5 senses are recording every single nanosecond of our lives, all of the sensations that come in. It's a tremendous amount of information that the brain is processing. And because of this amazing faculty called the reticular activating system, we have, it's saving us from going insane. It's just highlighting just the parts of the reality that we need to focus on. And we can program this reticular activating system. So most of us do not have a recording issue, just like this live stream is being recorded right now, and it's going to be filed away in a particular folder in my hard drive after this is done. But when I go to retrieve it, that's the problem, right? Most of us are having trouble recalling the things that we were exposed to at one time, and it just gets lost in the file. So that's akin to like having a keyboard issue. So when you type I is not showing on the screen, but maybe the letter S is showing up, right? It's a keyboard issue, not a hard drive issue. Does that make sense? I just wanted to make that distinction right now. And so this ability to recall the right information that you're looking for at the right time, this we're talking about as memory. So one thing is to bring a level of precision to everything that you do. And I really noticed this when I was teaching yoga classes. So yes, I'm going to go to the physical yoga for a moment. But in the physical practice of yoga, let me just share with you, like there is a foundation of poses. Like when you're doing triangle pose, this back leg is at 60 degrees, this front leg is 90 degrees. Now this has to be precise. Otherwise, your warrior 2, your triangle pose, and other more advanced poses, they all use this foundation, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. And a lot of times I see this kind of sloppiness, like the back foot's turned out and then it changes the rotation in your thighs, and you don't have the actual right alignment for the pose. So one thing is to bring a degree of precision, a rigorous precision to everything that we do. And like when you're sitting for meditation, it's not just any old pose you want to sit on. You want to sit with a certain, if you're going to sit on the cushion, you want to sit on the front edge of the cushion so that the sacroiliac spine right here it's going in. If you're slouching like this, the energy goes down, and there's a completely different effect of you sitting on that cushion. So the precision really helps you to enhance your memory because it requires alertness. When you have to be precise about something, you're laser focused, you're right in the present moment. So that's number one thing. Whatever you do, right? If you're somebody who deals with numbers, and imagine if you just said, okay, it's just another zero, just one single zero, it doesn't really matter. Imagine if the difference between 0 and no zero, sometimes it's like between 3,000 and 30,000, there's a 10x difference. Between 30,000 and 300,000, there's a huge difference, right? So we want to bring that rigor to what we are doing. The other thing is to really practice using your memory on a regular basis. I was astounded when I lived in India as a fellowship scholar, and I was, already 26 when I started studying, and the other kids, they were like straight out of high school, and they had been brought up in this system of memorizing Sanskrit shlokas. And the brain was so well trained for memorizing things that I was astounded how good they just heard it once and they had photographic memory. And I'm talking not just like a rare person, but like all these kids, and they were so good at memorizing. But in the West, we are really not taught this ability to, memorize with precision. And so, when you meet somebody, practice learning their name, practice learning how it's spelled, how it's pronounced. In yogic tradition, again, yoga with a capital Y, there is a tradition of mantras. And these mantras are, and sometimes there is a tradition also called swadhyaya, where you have to memorize an entire volume, like 170, 80 stanzas. And it's like you have to like tattoo it to your brain. So classic mantras, such as from the Rudram Yajurveda, that is, propitiating the grace of the guru, grace of. So we have to really learn it with a particular melody, particular accent, and a particular way of pronouncing it. And I'll just demonstrate for a moment. This is a very beautiful mantra about may teacher and student. May we not have enmity towards one another. May our knowledge, our efforts turn into strength. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Punaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma, Vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So it's a particular meter and a particular high note and a low note. And this helps stimulate different brain centers. It's really from childhood, this tradition was bringing up, in the educational system, how to stimulate different brain centers so that our brains are optimized for precise memorization and precise recall. Now, another dimension of the yoga tradition that really helps us with memory is mudras. Mudras, and we can call this hasta mudras because broadly speaking, mudras can mean any yogic posture, but the hands, right, in the map of the brain allocated to different parts of the body, the hands, the fingers take up enormous amount of space. Each finger contains about 16,000 nerve endings. Amazing, no? So, and if you watch a baby as he or she is developing from infanthood towards toddler, you'll see that they'll do all kinds of movement gestures, like maybe they're sucking their thumb like this. Now, this is a mudra. This is a mudra that is actually strengthening the spine. That is strengthening the spine. And then you might see them doing like this kind of a mudra, and you see them doing all kinds of finger connections and different movements with the hands, because this is helping to create the neurocircuitry inside of the baby's developing brain. And so when we as adults create hand mudras, we are also wiring particular circuitry within our nervous system. So some of the mudras that particularly are beneficial for enhancing your memory power, one is called, this is called Hakini Mudra. It's very simple. I chose the simpler ones that anybody can do because this merges together all of the nerve endings and press together into the finger pads and really try to be precise, again, in the alignment of the finger pads, and press until you really see the fingertips becoming kind of white. And you just hold this as we breathe. What this does is really merge together or harmonize the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And it will help you with your concentration. It will help you steady your the nervous system flow. And whenever I do pulse diagnosis, because I'm also an Ayurvedic practitioner, holistic medicine, when I do this, you will feel one finger in particular out of the 5 throb more than the others. And this tells you which element is dominant in your system right now. But this is a great mudra for enhancing. And a lot of, executives, when you are making decisions, you might have tried this, you might just unconsciously be doing this. Just watching your breathing. Hakini mudra, excellent for enhancing your concentration, focus, and memory power. Now, I would do this at least for 10 breaths, okay? So that's the duration. And the more you do this, the more you build the power. So at least 10 breaths, and you can kind of make this into a meditation. Another powerful meditation mudra that is almost universal is called B.A.M.S mudra. This simply bringing the thumb and index finger, and in the West, it's like the OK symbol. And the mudras has an impact on the elemental system of the body, because we understand in Ayurvedic medicine that each finger resonates with a particular element in the body. And the element is not just physical, there is a subtler counterpart to the elements known as tanmatras. Tanmatras are the energetic blueprint for the physical element. Right? Just like everything in the manifest world has a blueprint, so the elements also have a blueprint in the subtle realm, and that's known as tanmatras. So the thumb represents ether, the index finger represents air, the middle finger, fire, ring finger, water, and this finger, ether. So when you bring the ether and the air fingers together, you want the tips of the fingers touching, and have them palms face down, which is very grounding for your meditation. This circuitry really stimulates the air channel inside of you. It regulates the vata, the prana. Vata is air and space bioenergy called dosha. And vata governs the nervous system. And the central nervous system is the leader of them all. And inside the brain, there is the prana. So this regulates the pranic flow, and it helps you to contain your energy and deepen that inward flow. Because in yoga, we want to go from asana to pranayama, the breathing, and then which becomes, as you breathe evenly, that becomes pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. And we withdraw your senses and keep your focus on a particular object for a prolonged time. That is known as dharana. Dharana literally means to hold. And then that becomes, prolonged dharana becomes dhyana, or meditation. And dhyana, the word dhyana traveled from India all the way through the Asian continent and ended up in Japan as Zen. So dhyana and Zen actually are the same words. Anyway, I digress. But so Chim Mudra, or this is also known as Jnana Mudra. Jnana means knowledge. And this symbolically, the thumb represents the higher self or the universal self, and the ring finger represents the individual self, the egoic self. And we are uniting the two. We are connecting the limited self to the unlimited, infinite self. And this is a perfect meditation. When we say Purnoham, perfect, in yoga, we do this mudra. Now, the other mudra that is very helpful is also Prana Mudra. In Prana Mudra, we simply leave the index and middle fingers out and bring the ring and the pinky fingers together. This is a wonderful mudra to help raise your pranic level, which really is necessary for boosting your memory, because one of the reasons for deteriorating memory is low pranic levels, especially in your brain. And so this helps you also, breathe a bit easier and become a better conduit for the universal life force known as Prana Shakti. So this you can keep palms up on your thighs when you meditate, and you can hold it for as long as 30 minutes, as short as I would do at least 10 breaths with Prana Mudra. And sometimes you can do certain yoga asanas too in, kind of this peace sign. You're going to keep these two fingers together though for Prana Mudra. So this is the dimension of the practice of yoga it comes from tantric systems, but mudras for memory, boosting your memory. Now, let's talk about the larger mudra, or the more popularly known as asanas. So there's some asanas that are particularly, all the asanas are wonderful for the nervous system, but there are a few in particular that really have a balancing effect on your brain. One is the eagle pose, the Garudasana. Let me see, I'm not wearing the yoga clothes, but so you simply wrap, right, when you cross the arms over like this, when you cross any limb over the midline, it unites, it harmonizes the right and left brain. So let's say I do my right arm on top, and then there is a standing up with the forearms, and then I intertwine them. So there's really this integration that happens between the right and left hemisphere, the yin and the yang, and then the legs do the same. So I have my right leg on top, so I put now the left leg. It's like you're sitting on an office chair, cross-legged, and just first of all, trying to keep your balance like this, you have to use the micro proprioceptive nerve endings of your feet and the tiny muscles of the soles of the feet. Just keeping your balance like this is a challenge. And breathing, you want to breathe with both the nostrils evenly, and there's an eventual pitching forward, which you'll feel a huge stretch in the outer hips. And you want to focus one pointedly, like eagles do on their prey, and want to stay on that leg and come out of it with as much grace as you can, really holding on to that balance. So this eagle pose is really wonderful because it challenges you on the front of maintaining your balance, and it challenges you to really cross the right and left hemispheres in this kind of opposing way, and creating a complex interlocking right and left sides of the brain, which really and you're trying to breathe through the central channels. It's very, very centering. It's very, very grounding, because it's highlighting right in this area, which is the seat of Vata, the air and ether bioenergy we talked about, which is the leader of the central nervous system. Now, if you want, if you don't have time to stay for this whole live stream, but you would like kind of a handy really PDF that summarizes everything, I put it all in a download for you, and it's called The Top 7 Proven Yoga Practices for Improving Your Brain Health. And I really took care to write down step-by-step instructions, because some of these asanas require precision, as I talked about. It's not just a sloppy way of doing things, but in yoga, it's like creating a piece of architecture from the ground up. And I don't want anybody getting injured, and I want you to get the full benefit of doing each asana. So if you go to visionaryyoga.com/brain health, I have taken 7 of the most practical and accessible and powerful brain health enhancing poses and practices for you. And I've taken both from yoga and Ayurvedic medicine and compiled it into one handy PDF that you can really look at a glance. So you might, please download that. I created for you. And so Garudasana is an amazing pose for balancing the right and left hemisphere. Another, definitely great for the brain, but perhaps less accessible, is Shirshasana, headstand. I'm not going to demonstrate it for you because it's not that kind of a live stream, but if you download this PDF, and you're worried about, I would never want you to try headstand on your own, but I have put a very powerful substitute pose that is nowhere as difficult to do as the headstand, that gives you most of the benefits of doing a headstand and even more. And it helps you to open the whole cerebellum, as well as activate the pituitary pineal gland and all the microcenters, and gives you an amazing circulatory massage inside of your brain. Very, very wonderful for stress reduction, releasing anxiety, as well as boosting your memory power, because it's really helping to drain, old fluids from your brain. And so Shirshasana is definitely called, headstand is called the king of the yoga asanas for a reason, because it's, so powerful. But many people should not do it because they have cervical slip discs, or, it's just they don't have the strength to do it yet, and it takes years to master. So instead of risking your precious neck doing headstand on your own, I highly recommend you download this PDF and learn the substitute asana for headstand instead. And then Also, lotus position, which, again, you require a lot of mobility in your hips and knees to do this. But if you're able to do lotus pose, it is one of the most powerful and grounding because, again, the right and left sides of the body are crossed together like this, and it creates a very stable foundation. And lotus pose has this particular power to balance the lunar and solar channels, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. And when the two channels, the solar and lunar channels, conduct the equal amount of energy, there is a sudden rising up through the central canal, which is the Kundalini awakening. And so Padmasana is a powerful, powerful seated posture. And yet it requires opening of the hips, opening of the knees. But if you're able to do it, definitely practice meditating in Padmasana. In the beginning, you'll get pins and needles in your soles of the feet, and you can only probably sit for a few breaths at a time, few minutes, and then you want to slowly increase the sitting power, sitting time, and then truly it is said that sitting for 3 hours in Padmasana is you can say you've mastered this pose. So it's for the advanced yogis, but definitely has to be included in the list of asanas here. Now let's get to an aspect of brain health that is so important, which is diet. Because I know not everybody here are avid yoga practitioners, but we all have to eat, right? So what are the types of foods that are beneficial for brain health? So number one food, according to Ayurvedic medicine, is almonds. And almond is the king of nuts, according to Ayurvedic medicine. But not just those roasted, salted, spiced up almonds commercially sold, but you want to get raw almonds, and then you want to take the skin off. So these days, I think you can buy almonds without the skin, because the skin is a bit of an irritant. You want to take that blanched white meat of the almond and you want to soak it overnight. When you soak it overnight, the enzymes, because a nut is a seed, really, it contains the entire almond tree. It has a genetic material for the entire almond tree, and there's all kinds of nutrients and enzymes in there that is dormant while in a dry state. When you soak it in room temperature water overnight, you'll see that the nut gets very softer, and the enzymes inside of the nut and many of the nutrient gets really activated inside that nut, and you want to chew it really well. Make an almond paste inside of your mouth, and chew it, and you'll see it will release a sweet flavor, and then turn it into a paste, and then take that. So 10 almonds soaked overnight as a snack is excellent. So don't just take the trail mix, the salted, dry, roasted almonds, because that's kind of dead. It has the calories, but not the brain enhancing power of raw blanched almonds. So that is number one. Number two is ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. See, the nervous system, the human brain and the nervous system requires high quality oils, high quality lipids, because the myelin sheath that covers the axon dendrite for certain neurons is made of lipid, right? And also the skin is also made of lipid, and that's why the oleation therapy known as Abhyanga. Abhyanga is not just Ayurvedic massage. Abhyanga is really oil application in a certain specific way that grounds you, because there is a transdermal effect of that oil through the 7 layers of the skin. And that oil will actually have an impact on the nervous system. So you want to apply, in this season for most of us, organic sesame oil works the best. Not the toasted kind that's dark brown, but more like the light yellow sesame oil. And you want to do after a warm shower or bath. You can also do it before, which is the classic Ayurvedic way, but then it'll mess up your tub. So I really like doing it after, while the skin is still, the pores are still open. You want to massage from the periphery towards the center, right? And circular movements around the joints. from the soles of the feet as well. Do the soles of the feet very well, because the palms and the soles of the feet contain the map of the whole body. And so this is a wonderful, really, brain is not just here, right? And memory is not just here. Memory is your entire body, truly. Memory lives in your entire body, in every single cell of your body. So Abhyanga, the full body massage with organic sesame oil, every day, I've been doing it every single day, and it's a wonderful anti-aging tip. Truly, it'll just take an extra maybe 5 to 10 minutes of your day in the morning, but so worth it. Not just in the way your skin feels, but in the grounding effect it has on your central nervous system. So, so first, in the field of diet, almonds, 10 soaked blanched almonds, once a day. It's very medicinal, but you got to chew it with, patience. Don't just like pop one and swallow it. You got to really release and have the digestion happen with the amylase in the saliva in your mouth, and then you drink your solids, and that will have a very nourishing effect on your brain. Ghee, you can put it on you can put it on a toast. You can at nighttime you can have hot milk. If you're lactose intolerant, you can use almond milk, and you can put drop one into the hot almond milk or regular milk, just 1 teaspoon of ghee, and this acts as a wonderful lubricant inside, and it is very rejuvenating. It is also acts as a mild laxative, so it'll be very cleansing for you. And you'll see that, especially with cow's milk, it has a very sedating effect, perfect for before your bed. Lastly, so we've talked about, just to recap here, we've talked about distinguishing between recall ability of memory versus the recording ability of memory. We've talked about the mudras, the hand just hasta mudras that are helping to wire, boost your memory and concentration. We have talked about some of the hatha yoga asanas, which are full body mudras, right? And now we've talked about diet. Let's lastly talk about Ayurvedic herbs, because I promised you that I'll share tips for boosting your memory power through yoga and Ayurveda. So here goes. There is an entire class of herbs in the Ayurvedic medicine that is called Medhya Rasayana. Now, Rasayana literally means those substances which can enhance your nervous system. And so it's really about anti-aging. It's about improving the tissue quality. And so there is a specific class called Medhya Rasayana that helps to enhance the tissue quality of your brain. Isn't that amazing? It is thousands of years old tradition, really understood how important the brain is in human evolution. And so, of course, there is an entire class of herbs. And luckily, we're living in an era. If you live in the United States, many of these herbs are available through mail order. A lot of them organic. I like using Banyan Botanicals. And after this live stream, I'll post some links down below for the memory enhancing class of tablets of herbs you can buy and incorporate into your daily routine. One is the king of Medhya Rasayana, Brahmi, Bacopa moniera, and it is very rejuvenating for the brain, and it is very cooling. It's great for pitta individuals, those people who have short temper, who have amazing metabolism and sharp mind, but also tend towards irritability and frustrations and lashing out in anger. So Brahmi is very good for pitta people, but also really all constitutions. It helps improve cognitive function. It reduces stress. It counters and delays the onset of age-related disorders like dementia and Alzheimer's disease. It enhances the circulation inside of the brain. So who doesn't need that, right? And so another wonderful herb is known as Shankapushpi. This is usually, these herbs are kind of blended into a formula together. And so Shankapushpi also has similar qualities to Brahmi. And it is useful for boosting memory, especially, and also reducing anxiety. It helps improve the circadian rhythms, especially that's needed for the brain system to function better. Now, there's another herb called Ashwagandha, which is an immunomodulator. And it's been really, a lot of scientific research has been done around Ashwagandha. And this isolated compound known as withanoside that helps to manage the degenerative neurological disorders, which, which creates memory impairment. It's been really proven to help kind of manage neural pathways and really kind of prevent the synaptic loss that happens in aging. And so ashwagandha is also wonderful. It's not strictly a medya rasayana, but it is a wonderful rasayana, a nervine tonic. And it really helps you to also, counter stress, and it's a wonderful energizer. And so these 3 herbs so far, there's many others, but I didn't want this to live stream to go on and be encyclopedic. So 3 herbs I covered are Brahmi, Shankapushpi, and Ashwagandha. And there are formulations that combine these into a handy tablet, and it would be great to take these with warm water or honey, depending on your constitutional type. And so I can't really say across the board because Ayurvedic is an individualized medicine. And so if you'd like to, learn more and have an individual consultation, I'm offering right now a free one-on-one consultation, and you can access it at the link visionarysession.com. And we'll talk about, your health and vitality issues surrounding your ability to manifest the dreams in your life. Also, because for so many of us, it is our energy levels, it is our physiology that is not allowing our psychology, our mindset, and heart set to be at the optimal level. So much of the foundation is in our physiology. So I would, love to give you at least one actionable tip when you come one-on-one with me, and we can discuss what are the hidden obstacles that you may not be aware of, how you can, one really needle moving action you can take to accelerate your journey towards realizing your vision. And you'll leave really super motivated to implement this right away. So a lot of people have had breakthroughs on this. I show up for you, and it's a full 45-minute session. It's completely free, but I only have 4 spots on my calendar right now. So you can book your session right now at visionarysession.com, and you can book your slot because I'm taking some time off at the end of the month. I would love to see you and listen to you and just, be the holder of your vision for you. So these are the resources. I just wanted to recap the visionarysession.com for your, it's valued at $4.95 because that's the power per hour charge. And but I'll show up for you completely free and just show up for you as if you are my paid client. And also don't forget to download this top 7 proven yoga practices for improving brain health. It's a really handy guide. It won't take you long to read, and it contains both the Ayurvedic as well as the yoga practices that will help to boost your memory and to aid you in your concentration, because we all need to cut through the noise in this digital era and really laser focus on the vision we want to actualize within this lifetime, right? This lifetime is so short, and we've got to make the best of each and every day. So I want to thank you so much for showing up and listening to me. And I want to wish you a beautiful rest of your weekend and a glorious new month of November. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon, and see you in another episode of Visionary Yoga TV. Take care.